out there in podcast land. This is your old pal, Bullwinkle J. Muth. And right now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my favorite podcast, Steve Rizzo's Hey, I'm Talking Here. And do me a favor, will you please share this with your friends, family, business associates, and anyone you know, bub. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the show. Well, hello everyone out there in podcast land. This is your old pal, Steve Rizzo. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Hey, I'm Talking Here. And this is a show, as you know, about empowerment. It's a show that could take you to a better place personally and professionally. And I don't know what it is, but there are sometimes throughout the course of a day, you just get this energy and you're in a crazy mood. And before the show, I was off camera with my co-host, Debbie, and my director and producer, Bruce. And we just have this weird attitude today. So we anticipate this is going to be a wonderful show, as always. And I want to thank everyone who participates in this. And please share this with your friends and business associates and everyone that you know, family members, because, the goal is to get the message out. And that's why we're here. And this show, by the way, is brought to you by Conversations with Bob, which is, as you know, the book that I wrote a while ago. And I thank you all who purchased it and for the comments you made on Amazon. And Conversations with Bob, even though it's there on the screen, I'll show you what it looks like now. Basically the same thing, isn't it? Okay, that's good. But anyway, I will promise you this. Oh, Eric. He loves Bullwinkle. Well, Eric, if you love Bullwinkle, then all I have to say to you, bub, is that I love you too. Anyway, I will promise you this: when you read the book from cover to cover, you will realize how much power you have over every aspect of your life. And I have to say, I love today's title, Success and the Journey Towards the Goal. And I would imagine that a lot of people have different opinions about this, about what success is, about how important is the journey, is the destination the most important thing, achieving the goal, getting what it is that you desire, is that important? Or are there certain facets, certain things about the journey that's crucial too? And we're going to be talking about that. And before we do, I want to introduce my team. First and foremost, my director, my producer, and my good friend, Bruce. What up? How are you?
Good. Yeah. So a little bit of when that logo first came up, you saw a little bit of behind the scenes where the trick of making you slide over is by bringing me on.
Oh, cool.
Because usually you're full screen, and then you bring me on, and then we're two screens like that.
Yeah, I like the two screen. I like when there's like me and you, and then when Debbie comes on, which we'll bring on in a minute. I like that. You know why? Because when I'm talking, I like to see your expression. Debbie's acknowledgement is what I like to see. So what the hell are you looking at?
What
are you doing?
I'm paying attention. I'm listening.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh God, maybe that's why you're the director and producer. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it take off. Have you seen that that TV show came out a couple years ago? It was called Queen's Gambit. And
oh yeah.
In the middle of the game, she starts looking up, and then everybody else around her starts looking up. Like, what does she see?
Yeah, you know what though? Yeah, I know we're going off track, but I don't give a shit. It's my show. I'll do what I want. Millennials, now don't take offense to this, folks, but from my experience, millennials have a tendency to do that. You're having a conversation with them, and then all of a sudden they're going, yeah, and all of a sudden they go, and then they'll look back at you and go, what, did you see the hat that woman was wearing? And I'm like, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Well, actually, usually you see that in a party where they're trying to get away from you. It's like you're talking. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I got to get out of here because you're boring.
Yeah. And that's where when you have a wingman or a spouse, you can always do those little signals like, okay, when I scratch my ear like this, that means come and rescue me.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. Let's bring up Debbie right now. Debbie, where are you? My
I'm
co-host.
here. I thought this was like conversations with Bullwinkle a second ago. I mean, Bob. How you doing? Let's have some good fun today. I'm happy to be here. Hey,
Oh,
I'm talking here.
hey, I'm talking here.
Hey, I'm
You know,
talking here.
for a Midwestern woman, you you really do a great Brooklyn accent. You really do.
I'm
And
working
folks,
on
by the way, Debbie and I had discussed this. We got to get Bruce in on this too. Um, we want to do a show with a Brooklyn attitude. I want to wear my Brooklyn hat. I want to wear a sleeveless shirt, and Debbie's going to be chewing gum and cracking it as she's talking, whatever. But I want to do this whole
Oh,
Brooklyn thing. And so,
I
Bruce,
have never been to Brooklyn. I've been
what's
to
that?
Manhattan.
What?
I've been to Manhattan and I've been to Newark, but I've never been to Brooklyn.
Okay, Bruce. So, neither has Debbie. Could you just go along with what we're saying and say, okay?
Okay.
I've been to Brooklyn. I have been to Brooklyn. Eric says Debbie does. Hey, I'm talking here. I got to get the nasal in it. Hey, I'm talking here.
Yeah.
Here.
No, you got to say this. So I says to her.
So I says to her.
Ha. Yeah. It's
Ha.
never her, it's ha.
Yeah.
And then she says to me.
That's good. So I say, okay, SAW.
No.
I say saw, you say SAR.
Saw. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of New Yorkers do that. Like
I
a
noticed.
lot of New Yorkers, if your name is Gina, they go Gina.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Hey, where's Gina? Gina? I know.
Yeah.
And X. Hey, can I ask you a question?
I'm gonna ask you a question. Well, that would be painful.
I
No,
want to
thank
ask
you.
you something. And here's another one. Hey, you know what? Not for nothing, but what
Not
does
for
that
nothing.
mean? What
Yeah.
does that not for nothing? I don't understand that.
Yeah, you know what it means.
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'm
So
gonna
you're
say
kind of like,
something and it means something.
yeah.
It's not for nothing.
so Steve, you're like Lon Chaney, man of 1,000 voices.
Yeah. Yeah. Sort of. So well, I don't do 1,000, but I can do it. Kellen Ann.
Kellen.
Kellen Ann. How was London? London, right? She went there for a book fair thing and stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah. Love
Nice
Kellen
trip.
Ann.
Nice trip. We've got conversations with Bob and we've got Bruce Almighty in the back.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
change my
Right?
name for the show.
Yeah. It needs to be Bruce. Oh, you did. I didn't even notice. Yay.
Oh, he did it, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
See, now you give him a big head. Now he's forget it. I don't know
That's
why.
awesome.
I don't know why he did that.
Bruce Almighty in the back making the magic happen.
So anyway, guys, what do you think of today's topic? Success and the journey towards the goal.
Well, it's always, people always said it's not the destination, it's the trip. It's worth every, so you get the experiences along the way.
Yeah.
So if like, how many times do you go to the end of the book and just read the last chapter or the last page
Right.
without having to take the journey of the
Ooh.
characters?
Well, that's a good point because that's a basic mindset that most people have, and I just think it's my view is a mistake that people make is that they think the destination is the most important part, and I I just don't think it is. I think the goal is the icing on the cake. I
Yeah.
think the journey is the cake. And I think because it expresses all the ingredients that of your life are in that journey. It's what makes you you. And although it's great to achieve that goal, but it's what you had to go through to
Mm.
get there, the
Right.
character that it builded,
Mm.
that it built and builded. I used to be an English major. Holy shit! Hey, the character that you built it, and when you there on the way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you actually need a point
You
of
got to build
destination.
it.
I mean, you can't just wander through the desert for 40 years. You need to have a destination.
Yo, no, you have to have one. But what builds your character? It's not achieving the goal.
Yeah.
The goal, as a matter of fact, I'll go as far as saying, you know what your goal should be? Your goal should be every step in the journey. Your goal,
Boom.
that's what your goal. What the hell was that?
That's a mic dropper. That was really good. Well, I know I've read your book. That's not in the book.
But doesn't that make sense though?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make sense? If it's the journey is the goal, man, because that's what where you unveil who you are. You're making a statement, and it's that's what creates who you are as a person. And there are steps. There were so many steps on the journey, so many different levels on the journey. So your goal should be: can I be the best that I can possibly be every step along the way? And if I'm not, is that going to allow me, like Bruce Springsteen's song, 2 steps up, or 1 step up and 2 steps back, which is one of my favorite songs, by the way. Oh, Steve,
copyrighted that.
your goal is every step in the journey. But Debbie, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I love the perspectives of what you're saying, because my perspective and something I've learned from your book and from you with all of our Zoom calls and talking is this. If you're planning on, oh, I'll have fun on the weekend, but Monday through Friday, you're waiting for the weekend to have fun. Once you get to that destination, it's probably not going to be fun either, because you've been living in that negative zone, and you get more of what you give.
Yeah.
And I learned that from your book and from you. And so with taking that information and applying it to this, you would then say, well, I'm going to achieve my goal. This is what I need to do. I'm going to be miserable the whole time. But if I finally get there, that's when I'm going to be happy. Well, one way of looking at it is, you never should say, I may not make it. But what if you don't? Then your whole life trying to achieve a goal is miserable. But if you're really putting yourself into it and looking at every step as being something you're experiencing and that you're working toward and you're enjoying that process, then that's the beautiful journey to getting there. And it's the icing on the top of the cupcake if you get there, and that's all great. And you've also prepared yourself for that gift by being positive. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And everything that you said, though, was almost like I'm using what I've learned from you in the past. Now you, Steve and Bruce, you're talking about it in another aspect of reaching your goal. So I like it.
Yeah. And thank you for that. And I think the thing is that too. So if you look at it from that perspective, you have a goal, and it could, and when you write it all out, you're thinking, okay, this can take 5 to 10 years before I get there, but I know I can do this. Let's just say, so you have that mindset, that's what you're going to do. But the thing is, if you make that conscious choice to
easy
be
for you to say.
I know I'm doing it again. I'd like to buy a vowel.
Could I have an extra A for another one of my words? Thank
I'm
you.
a motivational speaker, And,
I love it.
So, shut up. So anyway, touch by prayer. Hey, Debbie. Oh, it's Lisa.
It's Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
And Lori Ficken is here. My dear friend Lori is there. Everyone's here. Eric's here. And wow, we're having a lot of people jumping in. This is so cool. Thank you very much. Eric, you know how much we love you, man.
He is such a supporter. He really is. Let's have fun with this, guys. Jump on and make comments for us.
Yeah, we want your comments. It's not just what you achieve, but it's who you become in the Yeah, exactly. Ooh. That's the point. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That pisses me off, Eric. That was better than what I was trying to say. And that's it. I quit now.
Well, he saw you struggling, so
yeah.
He was like, "Oh, my boy needs some help. Maybe he can read today."
Thank you. But a big problem that people have, though, on their journey towards success is that They're not living in the moment. And the moment is the only place where you can experience your life, because most people's mindset goes from toxic fears and labels and beliefs from the past that they bring into the present. What if this doesn't work? And what if that doesn't work? Not allowing them to enjoy the process, or their mindset is
So far
fear
in
of
the
the
future.
future. What if this doesn't work? What am I going to do now? And
Guilty.
excuse me?
Guilty.
Well, we all do at some point.
Oh, not anymore.
Not
Not anymore.
after you read the book.
I'm done with that. I'm like, no, one life, let's live it. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to say I'm not a little scared every once in a while, but for the most part, I just go for it. I've lived my whole life worrying about what if this doesn't work? What if it's not as what I thought it was going to be? And now I'm thinking, oh, what if it's better?
Exactly. That's the point. Look at the alternative. But you know what, Deb? It's part of the human condition, and all the studying and all the psychology that I know. One thing I found in the most profound way, that it's not just me or you or everyone else. It's all of us. It's part of the human condition to focus on the negative.
Mm-hmm.
It comes to the forefront. You take a person that went on vacation and they come back after 2 weeks. Did you have a great time? Oh, it was wonderful. But there was one day out of the 2 weeks, one day where they were confronted with an irate airline representative, someone behind the front desk at the hotel, and that'll be the main story.
That's what they remember.
That they tell everyone with emotion. And I can't believe what she did, or he did, and then they did this. And you're like, you just got done saying you had a great time, and all of a sudden you talked about this one thing, and it captivated your entire experience. And
you know what? Sometimes that's what people want to hear. People
want to hear the drama.
Yeah.
well, of course, that's what they want to hear. That's why people watch the news. The news is 97% negative.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Well, I know you don't know this because you're too young to know this. In the 70s, they well, I remember back when they didn't even have TV. No, in the 70s, Bruce, maybe you remember this. They tried to create.
I was born in 1949.
Bruce Almighty.
And you know what? Fuck you guys. All right.
There's another mic dropper.
I know. No, but in the 70s, they tried to have an all good news channel, nothing but good news. It lasted 2 months and it went off the air immediately. Nobody wanted to hear a news channel, an hour of good news.
I believe it.
It's amazing.
But I think there's something out there now. I think it's either a podcast or a website that's all good news, and they have like puppy stories and things like that.
And that's one of the good things about social media. And that's good because the news just bombards you. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me at the airport years ago. They were taking a survey, and because I'm a Diamond member with Delta, we're sitting in the gate area in Atlanta, and she said to me, well, what do you think that we can do to make sure that the passengers are more calm, especially when there's a canceled flight? What can we do for the aura, for the energy in the terminal, and I'm looking at her and I'm saying, you're sitting next to me right now. I want you to look at every gate area right now in gate A that you're looking at. What's one thing that every gate area has? And she's looking and she's looking. She goes, well, they have chairs. And I wanted to smack her on the back of the head. I go, keep going, keep going. She goes, oh, there are TVs in every gate area. I said, right. I said, and what's the only channel that they show on that TV? She said, CNN News. I said, right. And I said, would you say that the news is more negative or more positive? She goes, oh, 100% negative. I said, do you think that people sitting there are not ingesting that even on an unconscious level?
Mm-hmm.
They're listening to the economy's tanking. There was another bombing somewhere else. Somebody got murdered. And if they're lucky as they're boarding, they may watch there's a plane crash somewhere. And I said, this seeps into the subconscious, and that's got to be affecting their attitude. So when a flight is canceled, they're taking that shit that they just digested and ingested in their system, and Now they just got bad news that the flight's canceled, and that's what I believe a lot of this stuff comes from when they lose their mind.
And then they go get a coffee and get all jacked up on caffeine. Rah! We're running late.
Now I'm going to kill somebody in a better mood.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And
so I
that's
just posted,
scary to
somebody
say
somebody
because
was asking if I was born in 49. So I was responding to them saying I was born in 27, but it came across as Steve. So Steve, you're now you're now
Who,
90.
who just put this? Steve Rizzo. Actually, I was born in 1927.
That
Who
was
put
me.
that?
That was me. I thought I was
Was that
posting it
you?
myself.
Shut up, Bruce. You're fired. Okay.
oh my gosh.
But
And
you
my
look
cousin
you look really
Danny's here
good for
too. I got
95.
to say hi to my cousin Danny.
Yeah, you look
What, Bruce?
you look really good for 95.
Oh, thanks, right. I try. I work out every day. Although I just peed my pants, but I just couldn't get up and leave the
Oh
show.
my gosh, Dan is here.
That's
Well,
my
I know
cousin.
Bruce gets really like a wisecracker after he beats someone at a chess game.
Yeah, exactly. You were playing chess with someone from where?
It was Bosnia.
Bosnia. Wow, and you beat him, right?
Yeah,
Good for you.
but I don't win all my games.
And 19 moves.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right, we're getting off topic here a little bit, but that's okay.
Well,
That's
we're like squirrel.
We're having fun, and that's all that matters.
That's right.
And plus, I think we were making valid points. But before we go any further, let's watch the clip, "The Word According to Bob," which is the message. It's from the book. Yeah, Debbie, go ahead, introduce it.
Let's do the clip. Bruce Almighty, bring it on. Chop, chop.
How many of you think that achieving the goal is the most important attribute to success? Well, if you do, I challenge you to think again. In my view, the adventure towards any goal is what truly brings value to it. Why? Because the path towards the goal is where your life unfolds, and happiness is truly meaningful. When you're in the process of working to achieve something, anything at all, you're experiencing who you are and what you're made of. Your character is being tested and molded. When you become aware of the importance of every single step in the process, you're not only sending a message to yourself, but to the entire universe, that you're not only here, but you're qualified and you're ready to overcome obstacles along the way. All of which, by the way, are essential ingredients for happiness and crucial strategies for success. Of course, you should go for the goal, whatever it may be, and I sincerely hope that you achieve it. But I also hope, for your sake, and for the sake of everyone that's involved in your life, that you savor every moment and choose to enjoy the process. Look at it this way. There's a unique bond between the goal and the adventure towards it. Remember the Indiana Jones movies, one of George Lucas's greatest creations? Well, Indiana has to encounter all kinds of adversity on his way to acquiring whatever crazy artifact he's looking for, right? So try to imagine Indiana right now just walking down the street at the beginning of the movie, and he just happens to find the idol in an alley. That's it. The movie's over. That wouldn't be very satisfying, would it? I mean, think about it. Without a couple of wisecracks and whip cracks when he's faced with difficulty, the character would be boring, to say the least. Here's my point. The entire value of the movie relies on how he handles the adventure and the adversity he's confronted with. And it's the same thing with your life. Whatever your goals may be, make them happen. Just understand that the prestige of being a member of an elite group, while certainly is something to be proud of, it's not the end result. Your happiness is, right? What truly gives your achievement meaning is the overtime that you put in, your commitment to excellence, the sacrifices you made, the fear you had to face, the rejections that you had to endure, and whether you were able to enjoy yourself and appreciate the life lessons you learned along the way. Achievement does not make the person. In my view, the goal is just a gift. It's how you lived and what you've done to achieve the goal that brings value to it. It's the people you meet along the way. When you choose to adhere to this creed, then you will have no problem appreciating and enjoying what you have, because you will be fully aware of how you earned it. Remember, the American dream is not entirely about crossing the finish line first and accepting your place at the podium. there's a little part about the pursuit as well. That's the word, according to Bob.
We're back.
What do we do now?
Well, we got our popcorn. We found our seat. We got in the movie theater, and the artifact was found in the alley. Okay, kids, it's time to go.
But I just think that clip just says it all. You know, we could end the show right now. Of course, we won't, but we could. But, you know, it just brings back stuff. It just reinforces. And by the way, I learned that the hard way. I you know that, Deb. I learned most things in my life the hard way, and which is okay because at least I learned it. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, to make other people's lives just a little bit easier if I can. But
well, yeah, and if you hadn't lived the life you have and made the mistakes that you had, you know, the people who have made those mistakes, they think he doesn't know anything. I mean, I'm going through this because I did X, Y, and Z, and you can say, here's my experience. Yeah, I've made mistakes too. It's not all rainbows and butterflies over here either, you know?
And that's one of the definite keys on the journey towards the goal. You will make mistakes. You're going to be confronted with challenges, and there are times when you're going to go 10 steps back after you were just about to, where you thought you were going to get to what you wanted. Something happens and puts a glitch in it, and then you go all the way back again. But the thing is that what are you going to do?
Sounds exhausting.
I know it, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, and sometimes you might quit for a while. But then there's a point where something or someone gives you that incentive to do it again. And you just get up and you just keep going. But what I have found in my life is that my biggest challenges ever have become my greatest blessings because I learned from them. It made me more vulnerable. It made me more compassionate towards other people's plight and situations. And that's a part of my journey. And everyone has a different one. But if you learn from your mistakes, you're on the right way. You're going the right way. Fail forward.
Ron Goodwin says you fail forward. And there's so much truth in that. You know, people, the word fail just kind of, oh, look, Lynn Bunstein, how you doing? Hello. I'm glad you love this. Glad you're here. But to Ron's point, that the word fail, people are so afraid of it. But, you know, I've had failures, and you're right. If you use it as a learning experience, it can propel you forward.
Well, if you use it as a learning experience, it's no longer a failure.
Yeah.
You learned from it. You became empowered. That's what empowerment is all about. There are no mistakes. There are only do-overs. You know, and no matter how bad you screwed up, even if you did it intentionally, even if you did something to ruin something and you knew it wasn't the right thing to do, you can still forgive and learn from that and still move forward.
Boy, and that's something that's difficult for people to do, is to give themselves that grace to say, okay, I made a mistake. I knew I was making a mistake and I made it anyway.
Yep.
Those are the ones that are more difficult to forgive, but you have to, or you can't move.
Guilt and unforgiveness, not being unable to forgive yourself, guilt and all those negative emotions, anger, resentment, jealousy, envy, despair, self-doubt, overwhelm. I call them all the destroyers of the spirit because that's what they do.
Destroyers of the spirit. That's in the book.
Yeah, it is. It is. They just knock the life right out of you because people hold on to that. Even when they go 2 steps up, they still think about something horrible they did for someone. And now all of a sudden they just went 2 steps back again. And it's hard to generate that positivity and that optimism that you need to achieve the things that you desire when you're being sucked down by that crap of life, that stuff of life.
It's not funny, but that was.
Yep, I know.
That was made for the theater. You know what I was thinking about?
What?
You know, when you were talking about enjoy the process, the steps that you're taking to get where you need to go. It may not be as quick. It might not go as quickly as you would like it to. All of these things. Think about the young Hollywood actors that started when they were kids and how many got fame quickly.
Oh,
and what it did to their lives.
Absolutely.
I mean, so if you think of things in that way too, sometimes rejection is protection.
Yep.
Sometimes you're not ready for that fame. You're not ready for your goal yet. You have things to learn along the way. You don't want to think of those things when you're like, I just really want to get to the goal. But you have to make it more enjoyable to live in the moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. And most of them, they were used. But
True.
now, right now the entertainment industry is very aware of that. So when they have childhood stars, there are classes that they go to,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people that they can talk to periodically, so they
Yeah.
don't get that mindset where they have all the attention
Yeah.
and people are all over them. Then all of a sudden, the next season, it's gone, and no one wants to hire them again for another role because they're already stereotyped in that one role, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden that fame,
Is gone.
which was their identity,
Yeah.
is no longer there. Now they can't identify themselves with anything.
Yeah, and the parents need those classes too, because no one is an instant parent in any circumstance, let alone having some kid that's all of a sudden famous. How do you deal with that? And then the pressures after. But anyway, I do think a lot of times, most times, it's the journey. And for me, even getting ready for a vacation,
Mhm.
getting ready for the vacation is the icing on the cake, right? This is like the goal. We want to go here. It's going to be great. For me, I love to prepare for the vacation. I
Yeah.
love to think, oh, what am I going to pack? What I know that stresses people out. It does not stress me out. I like to figure out what outfits and all that and whatever. But I like to think about, oh, and while I'm there, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go see that. The anticipation on going on vacation is a lot of the fun for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. You get there and all of a sudden it's over. So enjoy the preparing to go too.
Wow. There were two. Could you read that?
Sure. Eric, how you doing, my friend? Success, the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. Progressive is the key word, indicating journey. The trip is greater than the destination, contrary to popular opinion. There you
Yeah.
go. A lot
Yeah.
of truth in that.
And you know what, Eric and Deb, I'm going to give two examples, and these were major learning points in my life. When I did my Showtime special, um, we had the night before we had to do a run through in front of a live audience at the Sands Hotel in Atlantic City. Woody Harrelson was hosting the show, and that night before the big show, I was in the green room, and I was just about to be introduced to the pre-show the day before. And Woody comes in. He goes, "Hey, Steve," and he sits next to me, and he goes, "What do you want for an introduction?" And I was just reflecting before he walked in on where I was at certain points in my life, and I was just thinking about the guidance counselor in 8th grade telling me I wasn't smart enough to go to college and being voted least likely to succeed in my senior class in high school. And I went through that, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, look at me now. Woody Harrelson comes in and says, "What do you want as an intro?" And I looked at him. I didn't even think. I said, "You tell them you're bringing up a guy that was voted least likely to succeed in his senior class in high school at West Babylon High School on Long Island. And now he's here in Atlantic City at the Sands Hotel with his own Showtime special." And Woody Harrelson said, "That is fucking cool." That's what he said.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't, it was, my point is, it was what I went through
Yeah.
and how I overcame that fear of being inadequate
Mhm.
and not being good enough and not being smart enough and not being worthy enough. And that moment was, wow, I made a big step here. And the elation was just, oh, it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming.
I love that.
And, and another time it happened is when, and I know you know this, I talked to you about this, and I think I might have spoken to you folks about it before, is when I made the transition from comedy to speaking. And I left stand-up at the pinnacle of my career. The entertainment industry was so into me. But because I went on that quest to better myself, and I read every book you can, self-help book, went to Tony Robbins seminars and spiritual seminars, a shift was taking place at an incredible, intense, powerful rate. So I made the shift. I left stand-up. I was no longer doing it at all. My last performance was in the Millennium 2000 in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I was nominated in 2006 to be inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame, which is a very prestigious thing.
Oh, yeah.
There are thousands of people, main speakers from all over the planet, speaking agents, publicists, they're all there. My wife was there. My brother Michael and his wife was there. My agent was there. My director of business was there. And yeah, it could have been an ego trip, and in a way, a little bit of it was. But when I was waiting to be introduced, what was going through my mind was the fear that I had to overcome for leaving the world of stand-up. When I looked at my opening acts, Rosie O'Donnell, Chris Rock, Dennis Miller, Drew Carey are all getting the big breaks. And part of me for years was saying, what would have happened if I would have stayed? But something hit me when I was being introduced and I walked up. That's what was going through my head. It wasn't that 3,000 people were standing up and giving me a standing ovation. It wasn't getting this thing that I got, this statue. It was the journey towards that moment that touched me with so much intensity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when I just went, whoa, wow, what a trip. And I couldn't even explain that to the audience, as a matter of fact. But
what voice did you use for your acceptance speech?
It was a New York. I remember part of it. What I said was, I
I was partly joking. You really did.
Yeah, I did. I
love it.
Because I know they expected me to be funny. Everyone does, but I wasn't in that zone. I said, I know you guys, and they started laughing immediately. I know you're thinking that I have to be funny now, but hey, screw this. What about my needs? Okay, this is my time. If I want to be funny, I will. If I don't, I'm not going to. What are you going to do? Take this away from me? I said something like that, right? So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to, that's all, folks.
Fuck it. But anyway, I want to thank never mind. But that's folks, that's my point. You got to think sometimes. What was it that got you from here? And I have an incredible memory, so I'm thinking of every little fear I had, every little nuance, every little thing that I was so nervous about. It all came to a head in that moment while I was walking up to grab my whatever they gave me.
That's some intense emotions to have when you're getting ready to address 3,000 people.
Yep.
Wow.
Standing.
Just that's the exclamation point to it. Laurie says, I'm so proud to know you, Steve. I love you.
I love you too, Laurie. I've known Laurie for 40 years or more.
Lisa says, each trial gives you a seed of endurance that will feed you in your journey. Oh, thanks, Lisa. And stop talking about how long you've known people. Women don't like to tell their age. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but if you look at Laurie, she doesn't look it at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't sell her out.
I'm not going to say on her. Shut up. Okay, I'm sorry.
He's like, I asked you to be my co-host. What was wrong with me?
No, that was the best move I made. So yes. Yeah. And I know you know that. So yeah. Folks, I'm not embarrassed at all to admit our relationship. Debbie and I, we just click like you just.
It's like we've known each other our whole lives.
Yeah, I think we did. I told you in a past life somehow.
It's a past life.
Yeah, a past life.
I want to know what Lisa thinks about that.
Yeah. Lisa, what's your opinion on that?
Does Lisa, if she's still with us,
I don't know.
Steve is awesomeness.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. We're not going to be able to even leave this place. He's not going to fit in his little box.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to put my hat on.
Oh, yes.
All
Come
of a
on
sudden,
now. Yeah. The big head. It's floating him away. But you know what? I feel like I have so much more I want to accomplish. Of course I do, right? I said earlier I'm going for it, and I am. And to say that I don't have fears would be not honest. It's all not for nothing. But I just feel like I'm in a place now where I've learned so much in a short amount of time in the last, I don't know, 5 to 7 years. And with meeting you even and reading your book and having the opportunity for us to discuss things where, you feel like you're not being judged. And so I suggest to anybody who's watching this that if you have fear or you're not, or you're living in the negative zone, like Bernie from the book, maybe find somebody who makes you feel like you can be more positive, that helps urge you and pushes you into being more positive and confidence.
yes.
And taking the steps and know that it's okay if you don't, and it's actually better if you don't just attain a goal right away, but enjoy the process and live in the moment more, which I was always guilty of that too. I'm always in a hurry. I still am. Gotta go, gotta get this done, gotta go. But I'm really focused now on, no, I'm doing this right now. And I'm with you. I'm on this show right now. I'm not thinking of all the other stuff I need to do, which is a lot. I don't care right now. I love this. It's wonderful. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to get this day back. This show won't be back. All of these things that everyone, it's possible for you to change the directory of your thoughts if you're aware of them, and tell yourself, no, I'm going to be more positive. I know that's true because I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah. But you touched on a very important point. You talked about your fear, but you acknowledge the fear. Most people try to fight it or pretend it's not there. And when you do that, you feed it. You're feeding fear, because that's what fear feeds off of. Fear is going, oh, look, she's trying to avoid me. Now I really got her. But when you confront fear and you say, I know you're there, but things need to be done and I'm doing it, and I'm going to use you as my energy, and I'm going to shift that fear into excitement, because fear and excitement are akin to one another. It's that energy. It's just that the fear is telling you that this might not work, but the excitement's going, this is incredible. I can't believe I'm doing that. And you have a choice on which way to go. So, and then when you visualize,
I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. Yeah. And I also love when you say you take when you're getting ahead of yourself, or you might feel aggravated or negative, you'll take yourself out of yourself and look at the situation from above, like kind of like look at the whole and its entirety, and it minimizes what you're going through. I love that too.
Because you're aware of it. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Yep.
Wait,
and think about that.
Yeah,
false,
think about that.
FEAR, fear, false, FE,
Ooh, she's that acronym there. I see.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know. Fear is false evidence. What?
Appearing real. Okay.
Put it down. Bruce Almighty, come on now.
Bruce, bring it up again, because Debbie
can't figure it out. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Yes.
FEAR, fear.
Yeah.
Okay, you get it now, Deb?
It's
you okay?
An acronym. I get it. Lisa, you good, girl. You good.
That's right. So folks, this is what we're going to do from now on. Yes, we are going to, we'll have a topic every show, or we'll have a guest or whatever. But towards the end, the last 10 minutes, we're going to do an excerpt. Debbie will read an excerpt from the book, and we'll discuss that a little bit. We love your feedback. And then we're going to read some of the comments before we leave. Bruce, we really want to acknowledge Eric and some of the people that are saying things. So What segment did you pull this time?
Okay, so kind of in alignment with what we're discussing. And so it's Bob's high points to remember. It's part 2, chapter 7, called Enjoy the Process. I got to put these on. Okay, so when you make a conscious choice to enjoy yourself during the process of achieving your goals, you become more creative, more productive, more resilient, and you find solutions to problems a lot quicker. That's a promise, my friend. So, I love this. I say it every time. I love the book. It's chapters, but at the end of each section part, he has Bob's high points to remember. So it's like if you read a chapter and you really love it and there's points you want to remember, he already has them at the end. The real, get you
Yeah.
points. So, this book it's everything.
Well,
It's
I so
really
much
good.
appreciate you saying that. Some people leave that book on their nightstand and they'll just turn to any particular high point and use that
Mhm.
to get them through the day
Yeah.
somehow, some way. But it is enjoyment and it is a choice. Enjoying yourself on your journey is not only a key to success, it's crucial.
Yeah.
It's that important because when you're enjoying yourself, that doesn't mean you're not going to be confronted with challenges. Of
Yeah,
course you
that's
will.
what I was just thinking. Like, what if someone says, "Yeah, but Steve, like, I have all these things being thrown at me right now while I'm trying to reach my, success and my goal, and this is happening." And what do you say to people if they say that?
Well, you got to expect challenges when you're planning out to achieve anything, even to get up in the morning to go through the course of a day. You should say to yourself, this is going to be a great day, and I might be confronted with some stuff because life does that. But there's
Yeah.
something within me that can meet that challenge head on. That's empowerment. And when you're aware of that, first of all, it takes you away from being victimized. Most people feel that. Why did this happen to me? That's the first thing people
Oh,
say. Why does this happen to me all the time? It's not just happening, it happens to everyone. It's just that some people know how to deal with it as a regular facet of life. It's
yeah,
life. Shit happens.
yeah,
But it's not what happens, it's what you do about what happens that makes
right,
the difference. It's the choices you make, it's the thoughts you have about the challenge. And if
yeah,
you could remind yourself that your goal is to enjoy the process, you could still deal with that challenge and gradually shift your way of thinking to what's working and bless the things that life has given you rather than cursing what life is currently throwing at you. And
mhm,
that will bring the joy out at some point. And even if it's something really horrific that happens,
all right.
you have to allow yourself to suffer. Suffering is part of the
That's
healing.
so important.
Yeah.
That is so important, and I love when that you're saying this. Like, you're not saying everything needs to be positive all the time. I mean, there are times in your life where you need to let it out, and there will be suffering.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Someone in your family. I'm not suggesting this, but it can happen. You could lose a loved one at any time in your life.
yeah.
And I think the biggest mistake people make on their journey is I can't break down. I've got to be strong for my children. I got to be strong for my wife. I got to be strong for my husband. I got to be strong at work. The whole While you're doing that, you're negating the healing process. Suffering is part of the healing process.
Mhm.
It's God's way of saying you need to vent this. It's God's way of saying you loved this person so much that you're feeling pain, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. But having said that, just suffering can be avoided, and that's different for everyone. There has to be a point, months later, maybe, where some people still are missing the death of a loved one, and they're walking down the street and then they see two kids playing and the kids are doing something really funny and the person's just about to smile, but their subconscious is going, no, someone in your life just died, you really shouldn't laugh at that, it's not right. No, you're supposed to laugh at that and you're supposed to hold on to that because that's another higher part of your saying
Mm.
you can still hurt but realize that life still goes on. and you have a right to enjoy it on different levels.
Oh, that's really powerful. That
It's,
really is powerful.
I
I mean, it may seem like it's a little bit, sometimes we do get off topic, but it isn't, because along the way,
it's
when
part
you
of the
have
journey.
loss on your way to your
Exactly.
goals, yeah,
Yep.
anything could happen, and you have to grieve. You have to let the suffering happen so you can heal. But yeah, I think to hone in more on the purpose of how you picked this particular topic is we're talking mostly in your day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
You are going to need to be present in the moment, appreciate the process while getting there, still live your life and appreciate it and live in the moment. I think I just said that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like the daily stuff of us going, why, last or the week before last, I told you, Steve, I got a flat tire, nail got my car. I had a water line break that was behind a wall. So it wasn't like just there. It had to be carved into the wall. And then we had a bad storm. My sub pump broke. So, but then I thought, well, at least I was home. So my house didn't flood. I was able to handle it. I wasn't like traveling anywhere. So that was a blessing. But like, then my daughter isn't feeling well, all of these things. And I was just like, ouch, but it's okay. I mean, like you said, shit happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's just that when you allow it to get to you and you get into that negative rut, and the worst thing you could say is, what else is going to happen now? Because the universe will go, okay, I'll show you.
I'll give you something else. How about that?
Let's have some fun. Okay.
Let's just give it to you. Okay.
Let's read some of these comments, and Debbie, I'll give you the honors of doing that.
Okay. So Lisa, who is also Touched by Prayer TV, you guys can find her there. Allowing the pain to go is part of the process too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Bring some more of those babies up there, Bruce.
Pat Lewis, how you doing, Pat? Some days are much harder than others, no matter how hard you try. Well, that's so true. It
and
really
acknowledge
is.
that, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yet
And you can recognize that.
Okay. Yeah.
And Eric, wherever you are, be all there. Wow. So so don't be like that millennial that Steve was talking about, where you're in conversation and they go,
yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What were you saying?
Yeah. Bring up some more comments, Bruce. Now
Bruce Almighty, come on. He's right now. He's currently in another heated chess game behind the scenes.
No, I think we have a lot of we pulled up most of them already, but I think there's a few here that we missed.
Okay. There was one from Eric that was pretty long, and that's all right. If you can't find that many of them, that's okay. We got a life. Oh, here we go.
Eric, the funny thing is that's a funny acceptance speech. Humor, as I understand it, isn't always about the material, but the personality. A perfect example of why we love you so much, Steve. Debbie and Bruce is pretty groovy too. Well, I always wanted to be called groovy.
Wouldn't you agree, baby? You and me got a groovy kind of love.
I'm groovy up in here. Touched by Prayer. Lisa. Wow, that's a professional looking video right there.
Yeah, her husband Rob did the Word According to Bob videos.
I want to know who picked his outfit, because I think Hugh Hefner gifted it to him.
I did. He channeled me.
Yeah.
I thought of that. I figured I got to look like Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. It looks like he all knowing.
All I needed was a couple of Playboy bunnies around me. Maybe I should do that the next time. I should have some Playboy.
Word according to Bob from the Playboy Mansion. I'm in my robe.
I'm now channeling Hugh.
Where's my cigar?
That's right, Lori. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes. Touched by Prayer. Deal with it and move on. That sounds like a mom.
Yeah, I know. That's so horrible.
Just deal with it and go.
And by the way, Lisa, we're going to have you on the show again soon. So just so we let you know,
Yeah, you're not being asked if you would like to join us. You're being told by Mr. Bossy Pants
That's
that
all right.
you.
Mr. Bossy Pants.
Oh gosh, you guys should have heard it before the show. He's like, Bruce, you got this, you got that. You go. Bruce is like, well, I'm currently playing chess. I got it. Pat
I
Lewis.
can't
Some
help it.
days are. Oh yeah, we saw that one. Yeah.
Pat is one of my friends that goes to Francesco's, my favorite restaurant.
Italian
She goes
restaurant.
there sometimes. Pat is a wonderful person. And folks, if you're going to purchase the book, please just give a review on Amazon. That's all I ask. And I think this was a wonderful show.
I
felt
had
really
fun.
good.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm groovy and had a blast. You know,
You are groovy. You're a groovy babe.
I'm a groovy chick.
You're a groovy. You're a groovy chick.
I'm a groovy chick.
You're a chick. As I'm just saying. All right, folks, we love you all, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we will be on not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. And I do promise you, we will be doing every Thursday soon. We will.
And it's not for nothing.
It's not. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. And by the way, Bruce, why don't you let them know that they can get the podcast version, the audio version on all the different podcasts. Yeah. Can you throw that up there? Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's a masterpiece right there.
Yeah. Bruce has painstakingly taken all of them, edited them all out. They flow really good. So you can get it on the Apple Podcast and Spotify and Amazon Music and all those other ones. Yeah.
And also you can just talk to your phone or your Alexa and just say, play Steve Rizzo's podcast.
Yeah.
You won't even have to, although it helps if you subscribe to it, because then it gets delivered to your mailbox or your favorite podcast distribution platform. Tuesday mornings, it was like 6 a.m., 6 or 7 a.m. Tuesday morning.
Cool.
Wake up and listen to the podcast.
That's great.
Wake up with Steve. Hey, I'm talking here. Yeah.
Hey. All right, folks. We love you all. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Bruce, Debbie, and Steve. You are so welcome, Lori.
And the listeners. I loved it. That was
Lori,
fun.
let's talk soon, Lori, when you get a chance. Hope you're doing well. And love you, Deb.
I love you more.